Partnerships, Al Dennis, professional storm responders, with a very special guest with us this afternoon, April Warren, who was not only in the original Twister movie, but was just in the Twisters movie that just came out. We're so grateful to have you here today, April. Hopefully, you're having a great afternoon.
Yep, I'm having a great afternoon, and thank you for having me.
It is absolutely our pleasure. The storm team here, and a lot of our followers have a few questions we would like to ask. We'll let Matt kick it off.
If I can
get adjusted there. There you go.
Yeah, let me get my video. Hold on, I'm not there yet. There we go. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Well, I'll go ahead and kick it off, Matt, if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead.
The real quick, and we know you as the Flashback Mom on Twister, on the original Twister. In the new Twisters, do you have your own title? You can't use Flashback Mom, but are you like Stadium Mom or something like that?
So my character is Rodeo Fan in the new Twisters.
Very good. Rodeo Fan. So
yeah, Rodeo.
Flashback Mom to Rodeo Fan. I can't wait to see what you are in Twisters 3.
yeah. That's the difference between being in Twister and in the debris and the tornadoes already happened, and going through the new Twisters where you actually get to go through the tornado and all the big fans and all the action and things flying around. Yeah, it was amazing. It was crazy.
Now, quickly, for those of you who aren't familiar, not only has she been in Twister and Twisters, but she's also been featured in movies like 13 Minutes, The Last Exorcist, and The Underdog Story, which is the story based on the life of Kurt Warner. So not only has she been in 2 really big weather movies, but she's been featured in some other big projects as well.
Excellent. Yeah, she's going to be a big star here, and we're going to catch it right here before she hits that big movie headliner role. We'll have her right here on our platform, Matt.
Well, I like doing background and extra work. There's a saying, sometimes they tend to call us just background or just extra. And that's really what I like to do, is the background stuff that pulls the scene together. So I don't know if you'll ever see me in a role, a featured role like that, but evidently you can get seen as a background extra. Yeah.
Well, just look, as it's not just a background extra. Your role as a background actress in the original Twisters, can you tell us a little bit more on how iconic that role was?
Well, of course, the first Twister, original Twister, was the first thing that I ever got to do. So that almost didn't happen. I had a family member tell me that they were going to film a movie in Ponca City, Oklahoma in 1995. And I said, yeah, right, that's a scam. So I put the information down, and the day came, and my son was very young, and he said, Mama, we could go into town and you could do whatever you need to do for that, and then we could go to McDonald's. So he had an ulterior motive. Plus, he wouldn't leave me alone, and that's actually the fine line that got me to go do that. So I go to the building where you fill out the paperwork of how much you weigh, your height, all of that information, and then they took a 1-step Polaroid picture of me. So here I am, 260 pounds, 1-step Polaroid picture, the most unflattering picture you can take. And I walk out of there thinking, yeah, this really is a scam, and got home one night, and there was a message on the answering machine said, we want you to come to Wakita.
Now, real quick follow-up, that town you mentioned, whereabouts is that town?
I'm sorry.
Pontus? The name of the town you mentioned, Pontus or?
Wakita.
No. where you went to. They
Oh,
said they
Ponca
were doing a
City.
call.
Ponca City.
Ponca City. Whereabouts is that located?
Ponca City. That is northeast. It's I don't know if you know where Blackwell, Oklahoma.
Yep.
It's north of Stillwater.
I have family, and we watched Ada, Oklahoma, Falls Valley, and down in
Yeah,
that
that's
or
a
in
little further out.
south.
Yeah.
That's
You're about
south.
45 minutes from Stillwater. You're about 45 minutes north of Stillwater,
Say one of
Oklahoma.
my cousins said there was a location down there. They did one of their scenes
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
so I didn't know if that was close to them.
Yeah. And then the new Twisters, I mean, there was a fine line there too, because of the fans that were from the original, their critique of the new one, some of them weren't too nice. And so I kind of had my doubts on doing that, but a friend of mine, Elda Muniz, she lives in Oklahoma City and we do a lot of movies together. So she said, "No, let's just go do another movie together and have fun." And I said, "Okay." So that's how we ended up in that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, reading your biography, getting to try to know you a little bit as much as you can, reading a paragraph on the internet, said you're originally from California. An
Yes.
earthquake moved you to
Yes.
Kansas and then eventually Oklahoma. So, knowing that your background, you survived the earthquake and then moved to the heart of Tornado Alley. Um, has that affected the way you view weather? And then being in Twister and now Twisters, has it shaped the way that you view weather at all?
I definitely watch. I'm one of those people that will be watching the meteorologists. Like if we're having a storm and it's bad, I'll be staying up watching with them. I'll watch either Emily Sutton on KFOR or David Payne on Channel 9, you know. And I can't really say that I've been in a tornado. We had something hit Perkins, it was last year before, and it tore up trees the street over from me. And it didn't do, the only thing it did to my house was the neighbor's tree limb fell and hit the electric box off the house. But the street uh, next to mine, it trees were, there was like three big trees that were tipped over onto this guy's garage. And then down the other way, there was another tree in the middle of the street, all on the same street. So it's like it went through there and missed other places. It was pretty crazy.
Absolutely. And tornadoes, like you said, can be very selective on what they do. Um,
Yeah.
Matt and his wife Rachel, which is my cousin, my aunt, her mother lives in Terrace Park Platte in Brookville. The 2019 Memorial Day EF4 tornado that went
Yeah.
through started the rotation of stuff actually all the way back in Newcastle, Indiana, where me and Matt was following it on radar. But it touched down in Brookville, and her house, like yours, had very minute damage to it. But the road across from her, there was houses that was actually removed completely off
Yeah.
the foundation.
Yeah. Oh, that's awful. Yeah. Yeah. When it gets that close and it doesn't do anything to yours, you're like, why didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, the finger of God, like Dustin
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
And speaking of meteorology, here we have some of our favorite meteorologists, like Eric Elwell from Spectrum One here in Ohio, as well as some really big names like James Spann out of Birmingham, Alabama. What's some of your favorite meteorologists that you like, whether local or nationally?
So I have an antenna. So I use that more when I'm watching weather than I do the apps. And I'll watch Emily Sutton on KFOR Channel 4 or Mike Morgan, KOCO Channel 5. Mostly I watch David Payne on Channel 9. He's pretty crazy. He's my kind of crazy. And so it's like watching the 12 episodes of David Payne.
And
Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought up K4, April, because we're gonna bring up, with weather movies, sometimes people kind of write it off as Hollywood. They've Hollywooded the weather up. But you brought up K4, and it made me think of Dr. Reed Timmer, who was actually the lead scientist who helped not only kind of bring some credibility to how you make the tornadoes look more realistic, but also I saw an interview where he was talking about how he was teaching some of the actors, actresses how to. Um, this is what you look for during a chase, and this is how you, uh, you know, the
Yeah.
verbiage and stuff like that. Do you think with having people like that on set, it helps bring more credibility to the science behind the new movie Twisters?
Well, absolutely, because not only the credibility, but the protection they're going to need, because what they do is dangerous. And so they need some kind of training before they get out there and do that. When they're doing the special effects, like this time I got to go through the tornado, and that alone, those wind fans they're using and the stuff blowing around, that was amazing. And to me, a little scary, because I never want to go on a storm chase. I don't want a storm chase. I've been asked, and the answer is no, no, I do not. I don't ever want to knowingly challenge something that can kick my ass or kill me. That's just the way I feel.
Factual. Fact. And one of our things here is ORD, O-R-D, observe, report, and document. We don't want to be in the tornado. We want to be back where we can observe it. We report it,
No,
and we take our pictures and videos from a safe distance.
Yeah. So it's very dangerous what they do. And I'm glad they had somebody teaching them,
Yes.
alongside
And what a
them.
great one to do that. Dr. Timmer has got both the meteorology side of it, the schooling down and a great understanding, but actual firsthand storm chasing and being inside of a tornado on the ground.
Yes. Well, and thanks to him and others, I see how crazy it gets, which lets me know I don't ever want to go. Now, my friend Elda Mooney's that got me to go into this movie, she that's on her bucket list. She wants to go. So any storm chasers out there, get a hold of me. She wants to go.
Excellent.
I believe it's your question now.
Oh, well, being in these type of movies, how has it affected your day-to-day life? Did that bring any more awareness or weather awareness to you? More than normal being in Oklahoma.
I lost you.
Oh,
are you there?
Yeah. Sorry. My question is being in these storms, how has it affected your day-to-day life? And I know being in Oklahoma, that's kind of forefront anyway, but has it changed at any other?
No, I mean, I watch the weather, and I have a above ground shed, and I mean, I don't study any extra. I just keep the weather and the news on when stuff is going on.
Excellent. One of the other things, kind of with that real quick, is I know you're not into storm chasing, but have you ever taken a National Weather Service storm spotter training on how to call in and things that they want boots on the ground to give them to help them on theirs? Have you ever taken one of their classes?
No, I've never taken any training. I did go up to the National Weather Place that's in Norman, Oklahoma, and there were some things you could watch and learn there, but I mean, not anything. Like I said, I would rather leave it to the professionals who make this their life. And, I'm the type of person that when the wind's getting up too high, I'm looking for a place to hide. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm not trying to challenge
And that's
it.
not a bad way to be either.
No, I'm ready.
All right. let's shift gears a little bit here. Let's talk a little bit about your career. And you know, we talked a little bit before when we did our practice run that
Yes, that's what we'll
uh,
call
yeah,
it.
that's what we'll call it, a practice run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about all of the movies that you've been in, and some of the people you got to work with. So, if you could highlight some of your more memorable people you got to work with, and some of the movies that you've been in, and some of the more memorable moments from them.
So I did work on 13 Minutes, which was another tornado movie. And when I saw the movie, they had actually put me by a marquee that was down on the ground that said the finger of God, which was actually a line from Twister. And my friends were like, do you think they knew? I said, that can't be a coincidence. Now, in that one, Anne Hesh, Trace Adkins, Peter Facinelli, I've done a couple movies with him. Did Unbreakable Boy is another one that Peter Facinelli was in, and also Zachary Levi. He was in uh, Unbreakable Boy and Kurt Warner Story, American Underdog, Kurt Warner Story. Of course, Bill Paxton, Helen Hunt, the original Twister, and then of course Glenn and Daisy in Twisters. And they were all really nice, wonderful people to be around and work with. They made it a lot of fun. Glenn had the director come up and meet me, and he stuck out his hand, shook my hand, said it's an honor to meet you, because Glenn had told him I was in the first Twister movie. And so I was joking with Isaac, and I said, well, this is my third tornado movie, so this needs to be my trilogy. So maybe you could kill me in this one. He said, but then you couldn't be in the next one. I'm like, oh man. I was like, no, make me a martyr. Just do something. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad they didn't, because we're looking forward to your next. Well, we'll just say weather movie. We won't.
I think the way this one ended, I think the way Twisters ended, maybe there'll be another one. Kind of has that feel to it. Yeah.
Very good. The
Really
Go
quick before we move on, Al, you did share a pretty cool story about Bill Paxton when we were talking earlier. Do you mind
Oh,
sharing that story?
So we were in the area where we were eating, and everybody knew that he was, I can show you too. Everybody knew that he was signing his Apollo 13 picture, promoting Apollo 13. And so I asked him if he would sign a picture for me and my son and my husband. He said, well, that sounds like three. How about three? So he gave me three separate pictures signed to each one of us, and we all went our own separate ways. So we each have our own. But this, let me see if you can. There it is.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, that's what he signed for me. So he was very nice. Yeah, very nice.
Excellent. The one of the other things we were curious about is casting calls. You said that your friend, and I can't, begins with an E. I'm horrible with names. Your friend that
Elda.
Okay, you said that she talked you into doing this. Could you explain how the casting call went and how you became a cast member and ended up in the roles that you are today?
Well, sometimes you'll get emails from like casting directors. If you have a talent agent, you'll get stuff from them. And so, yeah, we got the casting call from Chris Freihofer. He's the casting directors here, and I took some classes with him. Yeah. And so you'll get that, and then you just decide if it's something you can do, and the dates, if they have the dates listed, and you'll usually send in a headshot or a picture of yourself, and then they pick from that.
Very.
One thing I would like to know is working with the original cast. I know you said you got to spend a little bit of time with Bill Paxton, and you did say that you shared a makeup trailer with Helen Hunt. Um,
Yeah. Yes.
Comparing the way they had the original cast compared to the new cast, in what ways were they similar? In what ways did have they kind of changed from Twister to Twisters, the cast?
Well, the similarities would be the way they were all easy to talk to. The difference would be I didn't have a lot of time to talk to Bill or Helen. There was just the little moment they were getting us ready in the makeup trailer, and then the moment that I had, when he signed the pictures, the Apollo 13 pictures. But in Twisters, we're sitting in the rodeo stands. We had plenty of time to talk, look around and stuff. We did have bad weather come in. We had weather come in that we had to go home. And when we are going out to the vehicle, that area had flooded. Didn't quite go over my boots, but it was bad. It was bad. And they had people there making sure that we weren't getting stuck and we could get out of there. And then one night when we were trying to film, midnight hit and the actors strike happened and we all had to go home.
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah. We went through that. And then that was in July last year. And then we got back together in December to film the rest of it.
I guess that would cause a little bit of a delay. What?
It did. It did. It's a lot different filming in December than it is filming in July.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now and sticking with the casting comment, is I know you had the one role as Flashback Mom in the original, but when you're in a role like that, do they say, okay, you're Flashback Mom, here's your family, here's your scene, but then somewhere else they change your clothes and you're a fill-in and others? Was that your only scene, or was there other scenes that you was even further back?
For both Twister and Twisters, yes, the one scene that I had was Twister Flashback Mom, and then the scene in the new Twisters was the Rodeo Fan. There wasn't anything else. Now I've done movies where you like Gosnell is a movie I did that was Dean Cain, and you would, well, for instance, you had 5 sets of clothes because they're filming 5 days in a courtroom. You're filming at one night, then they just have you have 1 set of clothes on. That's one day in the courtroom, then you go change clothes, and that's the next day in the courtroom. So I've done that too. But in both Twister movies, my role was the same. It was the same all the way through.
Very good. You said
Yeah.
they did a lot of filming in Oklahoma as well, which benefited yourself.
Yes, they do, and I'm glad. It's like the earthquakes in the movies followed me here, I guess. Yeah, one of them's okay. The other one they can keep in California.
You've touched on a couple places me and Matt has that we want to go check off our list, with the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, as well as Wakita to the museum.
Well, you need to go see have you seen the Wakita Museum?
No, we've never been out that way. So that's one of our bucket lists to go out and do that.
And Linda Wade has that. And while you're there, there's people that come from all over. A friend of mine that contacted me, well, I didn't know who he was at first. He contacted me and said, you need to come to Wakita. It's the 20th anniversary. That was in 2016. And so when I got there, he said, you can share the table. What did you bring? And I said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't bring anything. He said, well, they're going to want you to sign stuff. I said, I have nothing. So I learned from that experience. So when I go, but Linda Wade has the museum, and it's packed full of stuff. It has a Twister pinball machine that Bill Paxton donated to the museum. And he also left his football there. When we were on set on break, he would take that football and throw it around to people. That's in there. There's all kinds of things in there to see, interesting things and debris and stuff like that left over from the movie.
Very
Very
nice.
good. Um, all right. So our last thing, and we always do this with anybody we interview. How can people reach out and find you on social media and plug any future projects or current projects you're currently working on?
I am on IMDb under April Warren. April Littlejohn Warren on Facebook, my regular Facebook page. Twister Flashback Mom is another one of my pages on Facebook. Hollywood Bull on Instagram. I think Hollywood Bull 64 on X, which I still call Twitter. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm not very savvy.
I do more Facebook. I don't do a lot of Instagram, and I'm hardly ever on Twitter anymore. But yeah.
Thank God for our chief too, Rachel, who does this for us. I try to chime in a little bit, but as you can tell, they don't usually trust me with being in charge of that type of deal.
I wonder why.
So for those of you who are wondering what we're talking about,
Why could that have been happening?
Yeah, this is actually our second interview. Al, he forgot to press the record button the first time. So this is actually take two, right?
Yay.
Yeah, some days you're the bug, some days you're the windshield.
There you go. That's right.
But with that being said, would like to go ahead and wrap this up. We've taken more than enough of your time, April. So thank you for being here.
You were awesome. That's fine.
And,
That's wonderful.
As soon as this gets uploaded, we'll make sure to come over to your page and share it so all your fans can come see this interview. And for those of you who maybe didn't know about her social media page, please go follow her. Once again, rewind it to like a minute or two ago.
Twister Flashback Mom.
Yep, Twister Flashback.
We'll tag
Mom.
all of it. We'll put all of that down below.
Yeah, and I think I sent you a snapshot. I sent Rachel a snapshot of all.
Yep, we saw it. So
okay, all right.
But Al, if you want to go ahead and put a bow on it and wrap it up real nice, we can go ahead and call it a day.
Excellent. And again, April, we really appreciate both of your times you spent
with us.
Welcome.
Yeah,
it was our absolute pleasure for this interaction.
Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. The
and
second time too.
And before you go into the end, I did want to say thank you for also clicking like and sharing our stuff as well. It's greatly appreciated that you have come over and helped us out as well. So just wanted to make sure you knew that we appreciated not only your time today, but
your support.
interacting with us and your support online as well.
Well, you're welcome. So welcome.
All right. And we'd like to thank our sponsors like we do at the end of all of our videos. T&J Small Town Sound there in Van Wert and all the surroundings. Turf Pro Lawn Care and the best drive-through in New Lebanon, Mary's drive-through. Right there on Main Street by Church, Van Wert, Decatur Cart, as well as Lee Kinsel's, and Pizza Hut and Ace Hardware in Van Wert, as well as O'Reilly's there, and O'Reilly's here in New Lebanon with grocery right here. And the reason we mentioned that, Matt, is August 10th, Day in the Park. We will be there. The whole team will be there. We'll be able to answer any of your questions about weather, radar, as well as showing you both local and national radars to help you ask any questions you need, as well as a golf cart there, helping people shuttle back and forth from the school parking lot over to the park venue to try to help out on carrying things and things like that. But here at Professional Storm Responders, we thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our stuff. And we're going to have a big surprise from April Warren here that we're going to release very shortly.